Okay, this message is for Arya from the Ultimatum Season 3 and Arya from the Ultimatum Season 3 only. If you're not Arya from the Ultimatum Season 3, you can just go ahead and fast forward to the intro music. Arya, you in danger, girl. Also, since I know you guys were nosy and didn't actually fast forward, check out my new tattoo. Wait. All right, welcome to Taste Take. If you're new here, today we're talking about episodes 6, 7, and 8 of the Ultimatum Season 3. And now I'm going to be talking about them like you've seen them too. If that's something you're into, hit that subscribe button for your boy. For my regular taste takers, let's see which voice JR uses in his next trial marriage. Boom! Episode 6. This one's called Fortune Favors the Bold. Okay, we start off with the aftermath from Girls' Night and Guys' Night. Quick summary, starting with the girl side. Sandy was gaslighting Zaina into thinking it was all innocent between her and JR, and Ari and Mariah were exchanging some friendly fire about Caleb. On the guy side, Nick tries to apologize to JR, but he don't want to hear it. Nick also wants to know if they've been sleeping together. And Scotty doesn't believe that Caleb sees Ari as just a friend because she's irresistible to all heterosexuals. Did I miss anything? So let's start there with Dr. Jekyll himself. We're back at the apartment with Zaina and Scotty, and he's huffing and puffing around just looking for some attention. But Zaina bites. She's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine." She's like, "Well, you're obviously not, so you just let me know if you feel like talking about it." Look at this. Is this the face of someone you want to be married to for the rest of your life? You telling me this ain't a demon? And the amount of time that Netflix left this face on my screen, I should press charges. No, JC. He asks her, "Have I ever talked shit about JR to you?"
And before you start with the bullshit, this is a yes or no question.
Zaina's like, "Oh, excuse me." He's like, "I don't need all that explanation. Did I or did I not?" She's like, talk shit about JR. Let me think. Well, directly, no. Then he starts to spiral even more. He's like, "Yeah, he's coming at me crazy. And I don't care how much you eat or how much weights you lift." Honestly though, isn't it kind of ironic that it's JR that's so into fitness, but it's Scotty that has the actual roid rage? Anyway, then Zaina's like, "Whoa, were you intimidated by JR?" Freaking Teater from the Idol's like,
"Hell no."
Then Scotty asks her, "Why are you raising your voice?" "Oh, that's kind of crazy because I could have sworn that..." "Oh, okay." Scotty's like, "So you telling me you haven't talked to JR at all?" She's like, "No, we've been detached." Those demons start to release from his eyeballs. He's like,
"Oh, well, sheesh, I was just asking for clarification."
Now that I know, thank you for telling me that. I wasn't sure. That's why I asked, that's all.
Zaina tells him, "Whoa, I have not seen this side of you. And girl, yes, the fuck you have." She's telling him like, "Hey, you can't be bringing that kind of energy home to your marriage. If you got some external things happening, it will behoove you to leave it there and not bring it home to your wife. This is free game that this dude does not deserve." He's like, "I'm sorry if you feel like my energy was off." I'm sorry. Feel like? He asks her, "Do you accept my apology?" She's like, "I guess, but I think I need a shot." "No, darling, you need a gun." Then in case this whole scene didn't make you sick enough, after all that, he tells her, "You look alright, by the way." It's gross. Over to Mariah and Nick. He's telling her that JR is all about Sandy. She's trying to tell him all the stuff that he's lacking from her conversation with Sandy. She tells him that Sandy feels really neglected in her needs, and she wants someone to show up emotionally stable. You hear that, Nick? Stable. Because a lot of y'all in the comments were like, "Chris, I think you missed the mark on this one." I understand why Nick was crashing out. Oh, okay, cool. We can agree or disagree, but I'm just saying, his girl maybe thought it was a little excessive. Well, what do I know? Okay. Anyway, Nick tells Mariah, "You know what? I just don't trust him. And I know for a fact they were getting physical." And again, I don't know in the comments, why do y'all think that JR and Sandy were smashing? Like, what did I miss? I thought that it was clear that they were not smashing. Did y'all see the extended cut or something? Is there something that I'm missing? Over to Sandy and JR having their standoff. He's like, "How was your night?" She's like, "How was your night?" "All right." She's like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think Nick would show up." JR's like, "Yeah, he showed up all right. Had the nerve to try to apologize to me. I told him, I accept your apology, but it still wasn't cool." Then JR tries to call her out for those I miss you texts that Nick thought was some big ass smoking gun. She's like, yeah, I was expressing my feelings. What's up? Now all of a sudden she's crying. I just can't take it anymore. He owns up to it for 1 second, then he goes back. It's just not fair. I don't want to move back in with him. This girl is for sure going to be looking for movie roles when this is all said and done. Next up, we're with Arya and Caleb. And Caleb is going to be meeting her brother Byron and his wife Chelsea. Byron sits down and wastes no time. He asks his sister, so what was it about Caleb that you liked? Who's going to tell him that Caleb was the only guy left? Okay, anyway, Arya's like, oh, well, I am physically attracted to him, but what I'm most attracted to was his personality. Her brother's like, so you're calling him ugly? Bad joke alert. Anyway, she goes on to talk about how much they share and how they can be vulnerable with each other. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that her brother does resemble Scotty in the face. Creepy. And speaking of Scotty, her brother asks, okay, so did this experiment give you some more clarity around Scotty? She's talking about how with Scotty, she won't get an apology for 3 to 5 business days. And that's kind of how her dad was. She's like, I can't be with a partner that I choose that treats me like this. I can't choose my dad. Byron's like, well, that's funny you should mention that because I see a lot of similarities between Scotty and our dad. And Byron, I see him too. And I don't even know that nigga. He tells her, yeah, well, you know, when I first met Scotty, I wasn't such a fan. Byron, what the fuck? What could this dude have possibly done to win you over? Someone got some explaining to do. She tells her brother the quality that Caleb has. This man right here, these are the qualities that I want to marry. Naturally, by the end of this meet and greet, Byron and Chelsea are in love with Caleb. Duh, who wouldn't be? What a freaking upgrade. Unfortunately, we have to leave them and spend some time with Zaina and Scotty. Now, this part of the trial marriages is winding down. She's like, is there anything you're trying to get out of me in these last 72 hours? Oh, excuse me. When you put it like that, well, he's like, I've gotten a lot from you, regardless of how you feel about it. Also, she's fucking nice at beer pong. Honestly, this girl is good at everything, and Scotty sucks at everything. Anyway, she's telling him, look, a moment of conflict doesn't define a relationship. More free game that this idiot doesn't deserve. Listen, I said it last week, Zaina doesn't deserve to be with either of these dudes. Now, for the record, JR is corny and she shouldn't be with him, but there's a difference between corny and dangerous, and Scotty is dangerous. There's nothing that I've seen from Zaina that would give me any pause in dating her. Now, Chanel, if you're watching this, I don't want you to feel a way about me making that comment. I'm just trying to make a point here. What I'm saying is, I just can't trust people who date people who I think are crazy. Like, Zaina, you're excellent. Why would you put up with this? I just don't get it. I'm trying to figure out what she sees in JR that makes her want him as a husband. And of course, I can see how he looks. I got the shit in 4K too. But she can't be that vain because she's bad as fuck. So like, I know she has options. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. Anyway, speaking of JR, the next scene we're back with him and Sandy walking in the park. And what a treat for us. Those skinny ass jeans are back. She's telling him, hey, mister, the last couple of days you've had a little bit of a tude. He's like, look, I'm trying to build something with you. And every time I try, Nick keeps getting in the way. You block him, he goes to your friends. You block your friends, he finds a pigeon to drop a note. Bad joke alert. He's just tired of hearing about Nick. He's like, look, you are showing up for me. But at the same time you're showing up for me, you still got to manage your ex. And that, as much as I hate to admit it, was a good point. That's not how this experiment is supposed to be. She's like, look, bro, we only got a couple more days left together and I'm never going to see you again. Can we just have some fun, enjoy each other's company, and ride off into the sunset? He apologizes and she apologizes too. A couple more pointless scenes here as the episode continues, starting with this random scene of Mariah not saying a word to anyone, just by herself, just existing. It's as if Netflix wants to remind us that normal humans actually exist. So I guess thank you for that. Then we go over to Caleb and Arya and they're doing some sort of book swap and she wrote him a note in hers. Okay. Then back with Sandy and JR and she's going crazy on those club crackers. Need to get her some Ritz. Then to this freaking idiot Nick getting his tattoo. This is what I wrote in my notes. Nick is here getting a tattoo. It probably says, fuck JR, you black fuck. It probably says, fuck JR, you black fuck. Wow. Why would I write that? And funny enough, that would have been an even better tattoo considering what he actually did. This moron sent his tattoo artist the wrong image. He wanted a tattoo that says love conquers all. Very original, by the way. But he ended up sending the artist a tattoo that says fortune favors the bold. Listen, I don't even read Latin and I could tell you that shit was wrong. And this is the dude that y'all want me to understand? Oh, you think this tattoo thing is over? Just wait till we get to episode 8. Just wait. Over to the oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. You probably like, Tate, this dude Nick got the wrong tattoo and that wasn't the oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. Absolutely not. This oh my golly Wally moment is sponsored by none other than Zaina and Scotty. These two are getting ready to move out. Trial marriages are coming to an end. Good riddance. Also, Scotty does suck, but cleaning up the bathroom of an apartment you don't even live in on the day you move out, that's a classy move. You see, I'm fair. Okay, that wasn't the oh my golly Wally moment. Stay with me. I guess they're talking about what they want to eat. And she's like, what do you feel like having? He's like, something semi-healthy because I didn't go to the gym today. Did you? She's like, I did actually go to the gym. He's like,
You went to the gym without me?
Okay, I'm just kidding. She tells him, yeah, I went to the gym. I actually ran into Arya. Here's what I wish happened. I wish she went to the gym, ran into Arya. Hey girl, love that outfit. Love your outfit. Wow, body goals. They take a second. They realize that they're both dating complete idiots. They hug. Zaina realizes, wait a minute, I fuck with you. Arya's like, I fuck with you too. They run off together as a new couple. Turn this thing into Queer Love Season 2. You heard me? But that didn't happen. So anyway, back to the fucking conversation. She's like, yeah, I had a conversation with Arya. And I found out that Arya also had a conversation with JR. See? Everyone's having conversations with everyone. All of a sudden, Scotty's rage starts to flare up. You know, he probably packed away his meds the night before, so he's overdue for a tweak out. He's like, yeah, everyone is talking to everyone. I don't know anyone that takes their phone into the bathroom at 1:30 in the morning just so they can text. He's like, I see you on the phone. She's like, what does that mean? He's like, it means you're talking to JR. Look at his face. She's like, bro, you are jumping to conclusions. He's like, well, you're jumping to dumb shit. Oh, excuse me. She says, look, it's not my fault you're obsessed with JR. He's like, I have an obsession with JR. He tells her, you're literally talking to yourself. And she gets a nice little burn here. She's like, well, if I'm talking to myself, that'll make a lot more sense than talking to you. He tells her to do better at deflecting because gaslighting doesn't work on him. Literally, how could gaslighting work on the inventor of gaslighting? She tells him like, look, bro, I think I'm gonna sleep somewhere else tonight. Heard you, queen. She tells him that she feels belittled. She's like, this whole thing is so confusing. Should I just call JR right now? Scotty starts to shiver in his freaking boots. He's like, why would you want to start that drama? Aren't you a little too old to be starting drama? At 32, don't you think it's a good idea to hang your drama jersey in the rafters? Oh, no, you did not. She tells him, you think you're mature, but you're actually a child. He's like, you're painting yourself in a really bad light. And brother, I assure you, it's not her. She tells him, you don't deserve to have my presence. Absolutely. Then this freaking dweeb is like, all right, deuces. Literally? No. Literally, who says that in real life? Who says that? Okay, let me just say how impressed I always am with how Zaina handles Scotty. I don't know how she does it. It's very impressive. She doesn't stoop down to his level. She doesn't resort to name calling. She doesn't let it rattle her. She just says her piece and then removes herself from the situation. You see that, Nick? There's like a way to do things. But yeah, it's safe to say I needed a cigarette after that scene, but Netflix knows what we need. They send us over to Caleb and Arya to calm us down. I don't know what the fuck they was talking about, but I guess Caleb was kind of explaining like, yeah, I don't really know if marriage is in my future. I always thought I would die alone. God damn, Caleb, you gotta relax. Honestly, if Mariah wasn't so safe, Arya would have a chance. But anyway, he tells her, you're gonna make someone very happy one of these days. It's not what a girl wants to hear. Ugh. He's trying to be nice, but he's like, it's not me, but somebody. Like, you know? Arya tells him, yeah, I do want you in my life, but I don't think Mariah wants me connected to you at all. And Mariah don't play with her, man. She's like, nope. And get somebody else to do it. Poor Arya is in love with Caleb. And I hope that even though that Caleb doesn't see her that same way, it was enough that she could see, hey, you don't have to be in a toxic relationship. There's so many better men than Scotty. Last couple scenes of the episode here, we go over to Sandy and JR in bed for their last night. This dude is in the ultimate friend zone, gets some weak ass kiss, and he's like, I'm gonna miss you. Are you gonna miss me? She's like, shut your... I gotta be saying the right stuff from the episode. I can't just be adding stuff. It's not fair to the viewer. It's not fair to the viewer. Anyway, the couples are all back together, and I don't have to talk about this, but Scotty's bitch ass reaches for an automatic door and act like he's doing something. Boom! Episode 7. This one's called The Changeover. We start off with Nick and Vanessa Lachey. Apparently they host this show. We got all the couples back together, and Nick and Vanessa just want the tea. They start off with Zaina and Scotty. They're like, oh, how did it go, y'all? Zaina's like, look, it started off beautifully, but then towards the end, I started to feel interrogated. Honestly, JR didn't know anything about our trial marriage, but this idiot over here wouldn't believe me. Scotty's like, well, yes, I was upset. Look at my girl Zaina's face. He has the nerve to say that Zaina chose to insert pettiness into their relationship. Then watch JR jump in for no reason. He's like, yeah, I must have said something that rubbed Scotty the wrong way. Then Petty Z came out. What? Now Scotty's bipolar starts to bubble up. He jumps in to defend Zaina. He's like, we don't gotta do all that, bruh. Literally, what even is this? Then Scotty has the nerve to say that Zaina helped him evolve. Brother, you're about as evolved as those Neanderthals from the old Geico commercials. If you know, you know. They go over to Caleb and Arya. They're like, whoa, how about you guys? Less toxic, I hope. Arya's like, yes, much less toxic. Our connection is based on friendship. She says, Caleb is way calmer than Scotty. Understatement of the fucking millennium. Then Mariah, who knows the host ain't hosting, jumps in. She's like, so Arya, do you see this as even more than friendship? I know that's right, Mariah. Get in there. Arya's like, well, the qualities that I want in a husband, Caleb possesses. I want what Caleb has in a husband. Did I answer your question? Then they go and ask Nick about his experience. Lord, he goes into this whole running into Sandy thing. Yeah, I was in a bad place, and when I ran into Sandy and she told me that they kissed, I just spiraled. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a second to look at Zaina's face once again. She obviously has never heard this news. She wants to know who initiated this kiss. Girl, I ain't no snitch, but it was your man. JR's trying to tell her, look, we came on this show with no boundaries. She jumps in, he's like, can I finish? She's like, actually, no. Then this dweeb is over here giggling about Sandy. She's the total package. I met her mom. She invited me to Christmas dinner. Sandy jumps in like, yeah, we have a great... Stop. Sandy jumps in, she's like, yeah, we have a great friendship. JR says, she's the best active listener, and I feel heard. Well, JR, why don't you try some listening and hear that she's leaving with Nick? But no, he's like, Sandy, you have a huge heart. I know you went through hell dealing with an ex that wouldn't stop calling. Now Nick jumps in. Oh, sure. It was just me calling and texting. Oh, okay. He asks, what about those I miss you texts? Scotty's bitch ass stands up for him. Now watch the tides turn on our friend John Richard. Even Caleb jumps in. He's like, well, yeah, Nick did come and apologize man to man, and you just kept egging him on. Now JR's temper starts to flare up his damn self. He's like, you mind your business with your friendly ass. And would it be an episode of the Ultimatum Season 3 if Sandy didn't start crying? She's like, everyone just sees Nick in such a positive light, and he's tormented me. She says he's been attacking her, he neglected her, then love bombed her. He tells her, well, I'm sorry, I'm out here by myself. She says Mariah's not acting like that. Girl, excellent call out. All right, we're out of there. On to the next trial marriages. Starting with Sandy and Nick back at their place, they're like, sheesh, you think they bought it? I'm just kidding. But, Nick tells her, I feel like I'm broken without you. You're low-key broken with her. Then over to Arya and Scotty, and I already hate this. He's talking about how he doesn't like that they don't see each other as much. He wants to spend more time together, more hot air balloon rides. She's like, look, okay, the one thing I will say is that you are much better at planning dates than Caleb was. Scotty's like, yeah, you like that, right? You like that, right? He asks her, how did you feel when Mariah was asking you direct questions? And here go Arya, because she's a real one. She's like, oh, no. I love a straight shooter. I love those questions. She's like, I think there's attraction on his side. She's right to ask. And Scotty's like, and how do you feel? Arya's like, well, I did feel the attraction start to grow. Scotty's like, let me think. Should I beat her ass now or later? There's nothing funny about domestic violence. But Scotty is starting to boil. She says, I can't handle this tone. Me neither, queen. Over to Mariah and Caleb for a snooze fest. She's telling him how much she missed him and how good it felt when he kissed her forehead. Okay. Then she asks about Arya. She's a little skeptical that his connection to Arya was just friendship. I don't know how many times I could tell Mariah this. Believe him. He's trying to tell her, like, look, don't read into this. Mariah's like, look, I know that Arya thinks you got the qualities that make a good husband. I know she knows that. Someone is not being truthful here. Who is it? Mariah asks him, does she have the qualities you're looking for in a wife? Caleb's like, she has qualities. All I can tell you is that Caleb is not looking for a wife. He knows that she has wife qualities, but he knows that he does not seek that. At least not at this moment. Over to Zaina and JR. Honestly, at this point, do I hate everybody? Let me think. Yeah, I hate every couple. Anyway, they start kissing, and in the middle of it, she starts dry heave crying because she doesn't know where his lips have been. Okay. She tells him that she hated finding out about that kiss that way. Wait till you see the show, bruh. She asks him, what else happened? Was it just those 2 kisses? Were they makeouts or pecks? Because I know you like them juicy. He's like, no. They were just pecks. But I must say that the second one was really on her. Because, like, she leaned in, and then I leaned in a little bit. And then before I know it, we were smooching. Zaina asks, oh, how long did it last? He's like, I don't know. It was a long time ago. Brother, it was episode 4. You better rewind that shit. He asks her, does that ruin everything? Like, I apologized. What else do you want? We just kissed, and I low-key caught feelings, huh? He tells her, look, babe, don't worry. I'm probably not gonna leave with her. Brother, we know. Sandy got JR looking like how Shamik Moore was looking when he found out that Haley Steinfeld got engaged. If you know, you freaking know. Anyway, over to Spotty and Arya in the park. She's telling him she can't get married to someone who doesn't see how they could be better. Or someone that doesn't hear her out when she's telling them they're hurting her. Then he talks about his romantic connection with Zaina. Literally, why though? He also doesn't believe that her connection with Caleb was just friendship. He tells her,
and I'm not buying this friendship bullshit.
She's like, Scotty. He's like, let me finish. But she's seen this song and dance before. She whispers, can we not do this? This message is for Arya from the Ultimatum Season 3 and Arya from the Ultimatum Season 3 only. Arya, you in danger, girl. Back over to Sadness from Inside Out. Mariah and Caleb. He's telling her he thinks that her obsession with Arya is taking over their relationship. He's like, I have an idea. How about instead of you telling me how I could be better every day, we do like bi-weekly or monthly check-ins. Not the HR performance reviews on his relationship. What? Do these two ever have fun? Good Lord, she's too mature for her own damn good. Over to Sandy and Nick for another pointless conversation. Here's where we find out that they're not smashing. Nick thinks they got to get back to that. Sandy's like, look, I've made the conscious choice not to get intimate. Okay. Oh my God. Then we go back with Zaina and JR. And I wouldn't bring up this scene, but I fear if I don't, the souls of my ancestors will not be able to truly rest. I guess they're at the nail salon, sitting in those massage chairs. Freaking JR's vibrating, talking about some, it's been 1 week since the changeover, how are you feeling? This nigga's titties were shaking all over my screen. Did I really write that? Yeah, I really wrote that. They're back talking about Kissgate, and Zaina, the mature queen she is like, look, if it's just a peck, I'm willing to move on from it. She then asks him more about his reservations around getting married. She's like, what's a risk that you can't take while getting married? Neanderthal number 2 over here is like, well, for one, let's say I have an opportunity to go to Florida. I can't just get up and go, right? So that's one. That's an easy one. She's telling him, the way I see it, we should be trying to build a life together. Girl, the only thing this man wants to build is his fitness business and the world's first set of 10-pack abs. Then we're back with Arya and Scotty. Literally kill me now. But also, don't kill me, because then I won't be able to see her say no to his proposal in next week's episodes. These two are cooking sushi, talking about not living together, which makes so much more sense now. There's no way she could be living with this dude every day for the last 2 to 3 years. Luckily for us, though, we can see from this scene that she's officially over this clown. Then we're back with Sandy and Nick. She's crying about, oh, actually, I don't really know what she's crying about. I don't even care to address it. I'm just here to tell him to get his shoes off the bed. We go back to Mariah and Caleb. She's reading books on how to increase relationship efficiency. Okay. I'm just kidding. I don't know what she was reading. Maybe it was a book on how to get more hugs from your partner. Mariah's a nice girl that doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. Okay, now we're about to have all the couples come together for the first time in a long ass time. Everybody's about to meet back up. Here's the first thing that I wrote. Ew, JR, I hate you. Look at this weirdo. I haven't seen someone so uncomfortable in his own skin in quite some time. Remember when he pulled, what up people? What up? McLovin did it way better. But watch this, because you know it's time for the oh my golly Wally moment of the episode. Sponsored by Nick. This time with JR as a co-sponsor. Now here I guess the crew sees that Nick got a new tattoo. Sandy knows the whole story. She's like, yeah, babe, tell him about the new tattoo. Tell him what you did. He's like, oh man, I'm so silly. I wanted to get a tattoo that says love conquers all. But instead I got fortune favors the bold. Aren't I silly? Freaking JR is like, I got that same. Can you guys just relax? I got that same tattoo, my boy. Nick, are you trying to tell me that you got the same tattoo as the tall, scary black man that's been smooching your girl for the last 3 weeks? You thought he needed that kind of ammo? Because now, of course, JR's dragging it. He's like, yeah, well, you know how it is. I set the standard. JR, literally shut up. Okay, moving on. Then JR and Sandy get a moment alone. She's talking to this dude like he's a little kid. She's like, are you making Zaina breakfast? He's like, sorta. But I am putting the toilet seat down. She's like, that's a good boy. Then he tries to get serious. He's like, well, I do have a bone to pick with you. She's like, oh, what is it? I don't actually give a fuck, but go ahead and spit. Okay. He's like, Zaina said that you said our connection was strictly friendship. What's up with that? Sandy's like, no, I didn't say that. I was partly, just trying to protect her feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not my place to be telling her what we got going on. You know what I mean? That's what I was doing. JR's like, so was it a real connection? She's like, come on, JR. He's like, the connection, was it real? She's like, you know. She dances around his questions long enough for this idiot to drop the whole thing. Okay, let me just say this. I truly don't understand JR's obsession with Sandy. I find her as an entity to be okay. She's not hotter than Zaina by any stretch. She's not nicer than Zaina. She's not funnier than Zaina. I don't understand the obsession. You claim to have never been with a white girl, but then you fall for the first average one you see? I just don't understand. And y'all been in the comments talking about how Sandy looks like Jess from Love is Blind. And I can see the resemblance. But if it actually was Jess that JR was having this trial relationship with, I would understand it. But Sandy? What is it there? What's there? I haven't seen or heard Sandy do anything that'll make me want to be with her. And they have nothing in common besides the fact that both of their voices are annoying. Anyway, I guess that little mini rant is over. Then Nick goes to talk to Zaina. He's probably trying to make sure this girl's doing everything in his power to keep her man happy. Just kidding. They're talking about the kiss. She's like, well, in that second one, it was Sandy that was leading the charge. His face freezes. Honestly, the way that these two are dropping exclusives that are both crushing each other's spirits is elite. Now Nick and Sandy are back at their apartment. He's like, is there anything else you'd like to tell me? Huh? Sandy's so unbothered. She's like, oh, did she tell you about the second kiss? Yeah, well, technically you didn't actually ask me about it. So, She's like, yeah, well, we were at the jacuzzi. One thing led to another. He's like, wait a minute. The second kiss was on a different day? I'm sorry, sir. Were you under the impression that your girl kissed a guy twice, but they were both at the same time? Like, one makeout sesh could be like a million kisses. It's still just one kiss because it's one sesh. Now, have you ever made out with a girl before? Your girl is sleeping with the Black Thor Odinson. You lucky they're just kissing and he's not smashing that thing from here to Asgard. Nick's like, wait, you kissed him? Sandy's like, I guess. He's like, I need a minute. She's like, babe. He's like, don't touch me. He's like, no, I get it. It would just be interesting to see what I do when I'm upset with you. Don't worry, we've seen it. Why? He tells her, I think you should leave me alone for a while. Then he goes straight middle school girl fight and he's like, you are such a liar. He's doing laps around her in the apartment, yet claiming he doesn't want to see or hear from her. Comes back around her one more time just to say he doesn't want to be around her. He's like, when were you going to tell me all this? Sandy looks at the production team. She goes, ain't y'all filming this show? I'm just kidding. She says, I was going to tell you after filming. He's like, I'm sorry, what? After we got engaged? Sandy's looking at him like, bro, I'm saying no. Boom, episode 8. This one's called You're Playing with Fire. Sadly, we start off with Sandy and Nick. And apparently he's 39 now. I guess this dude must have crashed out on his birthday. This dude's aging like he's on that one planet from Interstellar. A couple more minutes, we're going to have to get my boy on the later daters. He's now apologizing for something or another. She tells him, look, if I was in your position, I would have kept my composure. You put me in a messed up situation and it's very toxic. She says, you know what I want and you know what I deserve. And if you can't give me that, then you got to let me go. Freaking Sandy, go off. Over to Zaina and JR, and she's telling him that she wants to dig deeper and learn more about him. Literally, how would you not know this stuff already? What have y'all been doing for the last 3 years? He tells her, well, a lot of people haven't been through what I've been through. Most people max out their bench press at 225, but I'm repping 350. He opens up about growing up, going through different homeless shelters, wearing hand-me-downs, being called ugly, which, okay, 2 things. Number 1, I have empathy for all of this. No one living in this country of wealth and abundance should ever be homeless or hungry. And number 2, there's no way you're going to get me to believe that Zaina didn't already know all this. I would hate to think that he was using this as a moment to get sympathy because he's on a TV show. This whole conversation would have made a lot more sense if it came up in his trial marriage with Sandy. She probably never met a homeless person a day in her life. Who knows what this conversation would have done for her and her outlook on the world. She probably thinks homeless people got to just pull themselves out their bootstraps and all this bullshit. She's like, wait a minute, this guy that I'm dating, who has got a successful business on his own now, who I respect and admire the qualities that he was once homeless. So would this could happen to anybody? Yeah, like who knows what that would have done for her. And I'm not saying like I know her background and where she comes from and all that, but let me just assume for a second that she's never met anyone that was once homeless. Could have done a lot. But no. You know, when JR and Sandy talk, it's only about sex. So why would this come up in any meaningful manner? But hearing all this about JR really helps paint the picture of why he is the way he is. Oh, you were homeless and people said you was ugly? Yeah. It makes sense for you to paint your body in tattoos and lift a whole bunch of weight so you can change the narrative. And that's why he comes across like he doesn't know who the fuck he is. No matter how good he looks, part of him still thinks he's that kid wearing hand-me-downs being called ugly. It's really a clear-cut case of what I like to call SAD, or SADD, the Smith and Drake disorder. These 2 icons, who were once revered, weren't always so cool. Will Smith's girlfriend cheated on him with a hot guy at school. And Drake was a half-white kid living in Canada. So, yeah. They told themselves never again. They were going to be the best in their field. They're going to change the narrative and become, well, the biggest movie star of all time and the best rapper of all time. This is what they needed, what they thought they needed for acceptance. Will Smith said, if I'm the biggest actor of all time, all the girls will want me. No girl could turn me down. This is what I need to do. Drake says, well, if I'm the biggest rapper alive, then no one's going to call me half white or make fun of me for being half Jewish and all this. No. If I can do this, then I will have made it. And what happens? They both achieve what they sought to achieve. Will Smith becomes the biggest actor in the world, and freaking Drake becomes the king of hip hop. But every once in a while, those old versions of themselves rear their ugly heads. Because even though they achieved exactly what they sought out to do, it's never enough. And those younger versions of them are still in there. And that's sad. Well, that was a tangent that no one asked for. But when you hear JR telling Zaina like, yeah, well, I am handsome, I am tall, I am black. These are just some of the affirmations he has to keep telling himself to keep those demons away. We leave them to go back to our least favorite couple, Scotty and Arya. He's about overdue for another rage out, so let's just monitor that situation. Whatever conversation they're having, he says it's ridiculous that we're even having this debate. You just never want to hear yourself in a negative light. She starts crying. He says, I don't give a fuck about that. I'm not trying to spare your feelings. If I'm not getting something I want, I'm not marrying you. She says, it's just irritating. And in true husband material, he says, then be irritated, because I'm going to be honest. Back with Mariah and Caleb gearing up for another hate off, he says he answered all her questions and she still stormed off. She's like, I just needed a hug. What you need to do is sell t-shirts that say, I just need a hug. She tells him that perhaps he's just feeling the brunt of her emotions because this whole thing has been so tough. She finally gets her hug. Good riddance, we're out of there. Sandy and Nick are now meeting up with her mom and her sister. Her mom's like, I kind of like the black. Just kidding, she didn't say that. But all right. Sandy's like, okay, mom, obviously, last time we were here was with JR. Nick's already rolling his eyes. Nick tells the group, well, yeah, I didn't have the opportunity to have the same kind of connection that her and JR had. Well, actually, if you gave Vanessa a real chance, you could have. But no, he goes on to describe JR as the swaggy player type.
What do you mean by that?
No, literally, what do you mean by that? Because what do you know about JR that tells you he's a player? Or do you just not like the way he looks? Or you only like one of his tattoos? Then they get into talking about how he stormed into their apartment late at night. Her mom's like, look, I don't want to interrupt you, but what the hell were you thinking? Nick's like, I ain't even gonna hold you. I never been in love like this. I totally crashed out. Then he gets up and goes to the bathroom so the three of them can continue to flame him into smithereens. Back with Zaina and JR, she's got a surprise for him, an early birthday gift. She got him a Philadelphia Eagles grill, Philadelphia Eagles sandals, and a Philadelphia Eagles candle. Gross football team, but a nice gift that he certainly doesn't deserve. Zaina's like, how you like the candle? It's bourbon vanilla. He's like, vanilla. He's like, vanilla. My new favorite. All right, whatever. They start talking about how the Eagles are 1-0 since they got back together. She's like, oh, well, maybe if you put a ring on it, they might never lose another game. Zaina, do what you need to do to shoot your shot. I hate to do this, but we're back with Mariah and Caleb. However, they're actually outside getting some fresh air rather than wallowing in each other's sadness. Yeah, they're out there fishing, smooching, canoodling. Strange to see, but refreshing. Over to Arya and Scotty cooking. Yes, of course, I hate this. I just don't see how someone could be with this man for 40 minutes, let alone 40 years. He tells her, you're literally always upset about something. He thinks it's because she's been disappointed by men in the past and she's just holding on to it. Basically the JR starter pack. Then back to Zaina and JR on date night. She says, you know, I feel like I've fallen in love with you all over again. And I think you've been looking at me differently too. He's like, yeah, why am I now noticing? I'm literally, what I wrote, I'm not going to say that. Sign up for the Patreon. And you're moving on. We're moving right on. No. We are moving right on. Anyway, then JR has the nerve to say, so did you think I was going to leave here with Sandy? She's like, no, you moron. Not even for a second. He's like, oh, well, okay. He's literally the only one in that city that thought he could leave with Sandy. She asks him, could you see yourself married to me? He says, yeah, I think you'd be an amazing wife. Which is not exactly what she asked. Only a couple more scenes here, starting with Nick and Sandy having a candlelit takeout dinner by the lake. I don't know what they were talking about because I wasn't listening. Then over to Arya and Scotty. She's saying, you know what? I do see the growth in you. You see the growth in what? Arya, the only thing growing on this dude is his rage and his Jerry curl. How you got a Jerry curl living in the desert? You got Jerry curl juice dripping all over the city. As you can see, now at this point, I'm just hating just to hate. Back over to sadness and fear. She says, do you think things will get better when we get engaged? Freaking Caleb's like, who said we're getting engaged? Jesus, Caleb, can you just fucking relax? You cannot tell this girl that. She's like, yikes. Well, what if this was our last night together? She's like, well, let me answer that for myself. If this was our last night together, I would like you to know and feel that I gave you all the love that I can give. And wow, what a nice little statement. Mariah is just a complicated little girl, but just a lot of feelings. Man, he asks her, does anything about marriage make you nervous? She says, no. The thought of marrying you excites me. 10 out of 10 answer. 10 out of fucking 10. Then Fear goes into this self-deprecating rant. He's like, I just got so much to work on. I know I'm not good enough for you. And you know what he's doing. He's trying to get it to the point where she doesn't want to marry him anymore because of all of his shortcomings. But he just doesn't want to get married at this point in his life. He doesn't want to just be honest and say that. So he's just trying to bring himself down. Yeah, you guys have seen this before. We go over to Sandy and Nick. Do you think I know what they were talking about? Next, now we're at the last day of these trial marriages. We're here with Arya and Scotty. He doesn't believe her when she says she can see the improvements in him. Yes, that is correct, Scotty, because you have not improved. You actually get worse by each Earth minute that passes. And you're wearing gel polish on your nails, so shut up. He tells her, sometimes I just question that we can love each other the way that we both deserve. Scotty, that might be the most common sense thing you done said. This causes Scotty to start crying, but of course he does it weird because he doesn't wipe the tears. He just lets it drip into his mouth for the ratings. And now it's setting up for Ultimatum Day. Netflix is painting the picture for Nick and Sandy to be the first couple that we get answers from. They show Nick getting ready. They show Sandy getting ready. Sandy's in that freaking Rolls Royce and they pulling up. Sandy gets out the car and who else is there but freaking JR? Netflix, you will not be forgiven for your sins because this is going to be another dry, fucking weak-ass cliffhanger that's not going to lead to anything. But I will be here to see JR's face when she tells him, are you crazy? I don't like you at all. Oh yeah, boom, and that's episodes 6, 7, and 8. Good Lord, man, this took a long time. Okay, wow. If you're still with me, you know the drill in the comments. Okay, let me make my predictions. If it's starting with Sandy and Nick, she's going to say yes. It's gross, I know. But she's just using this as a stepping stone. She's going to leave him almost immediately. Before the reunion, they're probably going to be broken up. She will use this as Netflix fame like more than anyone else. Well, and JR because his fitness business. Next, Scotty proposes to Arya. She says hell no. And I got to stand on that because if she doesn't, I will have to kidnap her and save her. JR does not propose to Zaina, but he wants to keep dating her. Caleb doesn't propose to Mariah, but maybe he wants to keep dating her. Mariah doesn't move on. Ugh. What do y'all think of? Let me do my little ending thing. As always, thanks for checking out Taste Take. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like and that subscribe button. We just passed 30,000 subscribers here in this channel, so just a huge shout out to you guys. If you are new to the Taste Take journey on this season Ultimatum, shout out to you. But if you are not new, a double shout out to you. We are making some very cute progress. I'm very proud that you guys are still enjoying this stuff. So just have to talk about that for 2 seconds. But in the comments, please, about the show, let me hear your predictions. What am I off on? It's tough. It's tough. What do you want to see happen? Which couple are we rooting for even at all? Probably maybe Mariah and Caleb, but it just doesn't seem like it's, thanks for the time. Thanks for the time, y'all. Peace. Hey. Whoa. Look at the tattoo. Then I was talking for so long, the shit just rode off. God damn. These things take a long time. There's no other way to put it. Man, this is tough. Yeah, look into that SADD. I made that up, but I think it's a real thing. If I ever went to like a doctorate program, I'll make my whole dissertation on Will Smith and Drake because they must be studied. Yeah, that's it.